Okay, hello everybody. I'm going to be going through the final 9 songs to FC for Rock Band Network 1 at 150% speed. So last video was 25, and that was only a week ago actually. It was Sunday last week, so somehow miraculously we'd managed to do 16 of those songs already. It's quite incredible actually. But yeah, these next 9 are certainly not going to go anywhere near as fast. I myself would count myself out of pretty much all of them other than what I've put as number 9, the easiest song left, but even then I probably wouldn't do it because I wouldn't be the person for it, I don't think. But yeah, without any more preamble, we'll just go into it. So we start off with Parhelia, which is still hanging about. I think quite obviously the easiest song left at this point. So I'm going to be showing the same things I've showed off every time. The only difference is there'll be fewer songs to cover. A few more sections I've decided to show off this time per song. So that chorus thing happens 3 times, which is very annoying because of those double strums at the end that don't end on hammer-ons. The way you can combat that, obviously, is to just separate them entirely and just strum them well, separately, as I said. It's definitely easier said than done, though. So that happens 3 times, 2 times before the solo. We got this strumming section here, which is 19.5. That's quite a while. You need to be pretty warmed up, which I'm not. Plenty of hammer-ons in there though, so you can get through it. The first tricky part of the solo here, kind of missable, but it's definitely not the money section, which is right here.
Sorry, I'm not sure.
No one was talking to you. Okay. Looking good so far, I actually haven't missed. But yeah, that part you can definitely rake through, as I've said in the other parts, or you can standard strum through it, but it is a lot faster. As far as the fretting goes, it's actually pretty easy. On one hand, the only part you would probably struggle with would be the very end when it just goes to hammer-ons. And yeah, so there's more, the chorus repeats again and the strumming repeats again after that solo. So I think comfortably the easiest song left of the 9. It should be done soon, which, because there's been a lot of progress on it actually. However, these top 8, there's been little to no progress actually in terms of people going for FCs of them anyway. So number 8 I had as my Parasite, which has the second worst Evil riffs, just because of the fact that it's the second last one left, and I think I can pretty comfortably say these are the second worst. So very weird forcing. The forcing does all end on downs, but we have some unconventional chords and hammer-ons mixed in there, which is very typical of Evil. These split chords into the single notes in between. That happens. This sort of riff happens all the way throughout the song. The worst part is definitely this part here, and I'll explain why. And the reason I find that so bad, and you probably might too, is because of this just sole orange note here, which means you either have to double down into it or count on starting on an upstrum. And in that second case, the chord will also end on an upstrum. And it's just harder to keep the rhythm that way, but the strumming is so fast that doing a double down is sort of reserved for the very fastest of strummers and the best stamina strummers, which I don't think I'm quite up there unless I'm extremely warmed up. Maybe I could do it in that sense. But yeah, so riffs throughout the first 60-odd%. Then we have the solo, which is pretty self-explanatory for the vast majority of it until the end. And I have no idea why I've missed twice. And general consensus is you can pretty much just move this last bit. But I'm sure, I mean, that's possible to do it that way, obviously. I don't even think it's necessarily easier to do it. It definitely wouldn't be easier to moose it if you had a decent method for it, which, looking at it, it seems pretty possible that you'd be able to method that without too much trouble, but you would want to be very consistent at it, I will say. The transition into that first drill is actually pretty quick as well, if I can just demonstrate that very quickly. Not the fastest transition you've ever seen, but it's there. So you see what I mean there. And then I just decided to show how the song ends, which is variations on the very same riff we've seen earlier. A double green hammer here. Unless that was earlier. Actually, I think that was earlier, but either way. There is a double green hammer on in this song. It wouldn't show up in this practice chart either, actually. Come to think of it. But yeah, My Parasite, full of very difficult riffs and a tricky solo. I think I'm right in saying that this and Parhelia are definitely the easiest two, though. I think it's quite clear to me, despite them being very hard. I mean, I was saying everything was extremely hard in the previous videos, so I don't need to say how hard these songs are now. But the fact that Parhelia is by far, well, maybe I would possibly go as far as to say it is by far the easiest left, and I'd never found that song to be even close to his. I always thought it was very intimidating, and it is very hard. So yeah. Anyway, tangent gone. Let's go into number 7, which I put as Headed for the Ditch. I've generally been pretty quick with this one, but I'll show it off in a bit more detail this time. So the transitions into these chords are different both times. So this is the first one, which is the nicer one. There's absolutely better methods than what I'm doing there, which is something I can't even explain in words. But the second one is worse, and you'll see immediately why. We got a double strum in there, so you want to either... You could double elbow, you could teleport, you could alt elbow. Do it in a number of ways, but either way it's harder than the first one. The chords remain the same, I'm pretty sure, it's a different note. Okay, and the main solo I've always just sort of passed by, I never really actually showed it, but this is how bad it gets. It's not the worst thing in the world. And if you were going for this FC, you'd want to be like 100 on it, really. I mean, those zigs are pretty easy, right? But the solo is also an example of just how fast-paced the rest of the song is. I mean, it's pretty much 16ths almost the entire way through. Very few breaks. And the end of the song, as I've shown a few times already, these chords, which aren't that bad. You definitely want to be as good as possible at them. But it's absolutely a choke spot. There is no denying that. Okay, so Headed for the Ditch. That is that one. Next up we have Burn by Mike Alondo. I put it number 6. And I will say that the top 5 are, I think, a cut above these bottom 4. I mean, Parhelia is probably the league below these 3. My Parasite, maybe Parhelia is 2 leagues below, My Parasite 1 league below these. Burn and Headed for the Ditch in the second highest tier. I mean, it's completely arbitrary what I'm saying. And then the top 5 are basically the big 5. It just happens that there are 5 songs that I consider extremely high. Anyway, to show you Burn, I've been pretty brief in this one as well, so this time I'm going to show you every solo. Very moose friendly, this sort of stuff. And then the sweep part could be considered the worst part of the whole song. I certainly find that it probably is, because solo 5 is very cheesable with the encore here. Here's solo 3. start it again. But the longest of the 5 solos. Probably not the hardest though. Actually, come to think of it, it might be the hardest solo. Just because we're on corner and there's a lot of throws at you. A lot of it's actually quite simple, but there's some pretty damn quick stuff in this. If you want to be clean, you gotta learn a decent amount of it. So that was pretty close actually, but yeah, there's just so many things you could miss throughout the song. I tell a lie, I'm actually not going to show off solo 4 because that is still pretty easy, but this is post solo 4 at the end right here. That ends on a hammer, so it's decent. I mean, you see exactly what I mean about solo 5-inch easily. I've hit it every single time I've demonstrated it. You can just rake through it. I mean, if you don't have a rake, then that part's going to suck actually, but the triplets before it are fine. So I would say rake, definitely recommend for this song. If you feel like you can do it standard, then feel free. It would be much more impressive that way, that's for sure. But yeah, I would say the solos are hard, but the real reason this is so hard, I think it would have been done if the sweepy sections didn't exist. First of all, because they're very awkward and there's random strums and it's all enforced, so it's annoying in that respect. And secondly, because one of them closes the song, as we see right there. So, yeah. Burn at number 6. Then we enter the big 5. These could be in any order, probably, depending on who you speak to. Time No More, for instance, has been called the worst, but I have it here at number 5. Some progress has been made on this by Randy, at least. So, I mean, chances are he'll get this at some point. But let's show it off anywhere. The worst eval of this, and there was sort of no argument really. Yep. And the very, very worst of it, right here. We got an intro reprise, some all-string stuff there. And then something I just, you know, can't even combo really. It's absurd, honestly. I don't know how people can do that. That's probably the worst riff in all of Rock Band Network, maybe including 2. And then this part in the solo, which I've shown off every time so far, which isn't that bad, but it's worth knowing about. But, I mean, if you were going for this song, you would know the whole song for sure. So, it's almost not worth talking about. There's a little bit of fast drumming at the end, but it's not going to be a deal breaker either. Time No More. Disgraceful. Alpha Strike, I have at number 4. Which we all know. I've added almost nothing to this. The first difficult part is right here, which isn't actually that bad really. Getting past solo 1 shouldn't be that hard if you were planning on going for this song. The second raking bit is right here, and it's just passed. Outside of the solo, and it ends on a hammer-on as well. But then we have the big, just middle section, which is the reason why this song is so hard. And this part right here is probably the worst part of the whole thing. We've determined that these trills are actually moosable. I mean, if you want to hit them clean, then fair enough. But unless you're a god himself, you're probably just going to want to make it as easy as possible for yourself. And that's the last hard part of the song. Looking at it now, I think it can be done for sure, but someone would need to dedicate a lot of time into that for sure. And I'm probably saying for sure more than I realise. Okay, Alpha Strike I had at 4, number 3 I've got Abraxas. And I'm going to show the strumming bit in its entirety this time. This is everything in this song. So, start off with the trill bit, this weird bit, all the same stuff we've done before, this bizarre part but you can work through it, and this very, very long part of realistically strumming you'll want to have to rake. So everything ends on downs, but with hammer-ons in, so it's going to completely make it RNG. No consistency in the breaks. And that's the first raking bit, not even the whole thing. You got a decently quick transition back into raking here. And after that you're done at least, but that is one hell of an endurance of raking that you need to be dead set on. You need to find a way to be consistent at raking through those hopelows. If you for somehow you're fast enough to stand at it, I still don't even think that's going to be very helpful because of the hammer-ons, and you're never going to use the hammer-ons. No one is using the hammer-ons in that. So, I mean, maybe someone could do it once, but no way they'd be consistent enough to do it for the whole song. So, yeah, you would need to be consistent at raking hammer-ons, and that's really the gist of that song. The rest of it is very doable. If the song was like Sumerian Shambhala style strumming, all hammer-ons and it ends on a hammer-on, then chances are it could have been done by now. But the state it's in now, it's not been appealing to anyone for good reason. Number 2, always argued about whether this one is hardest. A slight amplification. I still don't think so, but I mean, who am I to say really? I can't do it. So I'm going to show you the entire first verse here this time. And there's 2 of those verses, same length. A lot of awesome stuff. Solo 1, we've all seen it before, but we'll show it off again. You see, -4, I think it can be done. If I can get that close. And then solo 2 is also a choke spot. I mean, this is awkward. Let's not forget about it. Those strums are nothing. I mean, hitting that at 150 here is definitely easier than doing it on Rock Band 3 at normal speed. But that goes for a lot of stuff, actually. I just thought I'd mention it there. And there's some kind of missable stuff after that, but realistically, if you're going for this song, you're going to be good at it. So that's a slight amplification. You can see there by... I had a reasonable performance there, so you can understand why I don't think it's the hardest. And I think Nihilanth, I mean, it could be... It might not be Nihilanth. I just think Nihilanth in itself is harder than a slight amplification. I'm just going to show the same thing I did last time, which is the second half, except with a little strumming bit before that ends the first half. And I'm just going to say again, if you want to grind this song, you have to wait 2 minutes per attempt till you get to the hard stuff. That's 2 minutes every time, which is quite a long time, and the hard stuff is 2.5 minutes. Just saying. So this is realistically nothing, but that's basically just our alarm to tell us that the second half is coming up. I don't really have anything new to say here, so I'm just going to play it through. That riff can really be disorienting, to be honest. I don't know. Keep missing it. And the worst part probably solo 6. Everyone seems to agree with that. I'm missing it every time now. It's not that hard, okay. Oh gosh. Yeah, I can hit 5 but not that. I might be mental blocking a riff here. I mean, I'm not trying to prove that it's hard, it's not bad. Then the 9. And some making it finish, and the riff once more. So yeah, people know Nyland by now, but, you know. Just a reminder what it's all about. Yeah, so they're the 9. I'm not going to dwell anymore. Nothing really else to say. So, yeah, progress will most certainly slow down. We definitely can't do 16 songs in a week again, because there aren't 16 songs left. So most of the effort is going to go to Rock Band Network 2, where there's about over halfway done with that. So it'll be interesting to see what's left when the primary reading is done, and much like we've done here, I'll get the initial list of songs down to X. I don't know, I think it's going to be a smaller list than Rock Band Network 1, and then we'll do these videos. I will say emphatically that this is the last time I'll do one individually for Rock Band Network 1, so this, if I do another video, it will be the entire list of songs. So there's actually only 16 songs total out of the set list that are weeded. So there's 7, that's 4, there's 7 songs left outside of Rock Band Network 1, those being Through the Fire and Flames, Operation Ground and Pound, Pulse of the Maggots, Child in Time, and Voodoo Child from Rock Band 3 DLC. So there's 5 Rock Band 3 DLC songs. Voodoo Child, its time should be coming, but no one seems to be doing it, and I'm not very good at it either. And then we have from Guitar Hero, there's actually only 2 songs, and that would be Operation Ground and Pound from GH3, and Drilling Banjos just from GH DLC. Well, to a DLC specifically, but we didn't specify when making the sheet. So yeah, that's gonna be it. If you've watched, thank you, and I'll see you next time.